Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters, today we're going to be crafting with the Papercraft Society box number 38, and this is designed by the lovely Clare Roland, known as the artist Daisy May. So I've made a couple of cards using this box, and I have this card and one more card to make using the products from this box. I have downloaded the papers, which as a subscriber you get to do, and I have everything I need here ready to go. So let me just start by saying, if you do decide to make this card, I would love to see it on our new Facebook group page. It's called Your Cards and Crafts, and I'll leave links to that down below. Also, I'll leave links to the kit and subscriptions that you can get regarding the Papercraft Society box. And what else? Is there any other housekeeping I need to do? I don't think so, other than if you like my video, give it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing. And if not, please do hit the subscribe button. Click the bell so you'll be notified each time I post a video. So that's everything that out of the way. So this card is going to be a pop-up box card. Now, there's loads of them out there on the internet, but I really wanted to have a go at making a pop-up box tutorial for my channel. And hubby liked the idea of this as a Christmas card, so I said, you know what, I don't have a video for this on my channel, so I'm going to make one, and why not use the Papercraft Society box 38 for it. So my card base is this red cardstock. Now I use a lot of the Crelando, it's the little cardstock. When it comes in, I grab about 30 or 40 pads of that because it's really good. It's about a 280 GSM. It actually feels like 300, but it says 280 on the actual packaging, and I picked up a load of it and I love it because it's extra long. It's not your standard length. This is a full size of the pack, and you can see here it's longer than 12 inches. I'd say it's about 13.5, and it's about 9.5 inches in length. So this is really good for making large cards, and I love it for that reason. Okay, so I have two pieces of cardstock here, and they measure 8.5 by 8 inches, and I have some score lines on them. I have it done already, but I'm going to go through it with you. So first of all, I have done a score line at 4 inches and 8 inches on both my cards. Then I have rotated them around, and on one I've scored again at 4 inches all the way to the bottom. But on the second one, and my little 1/2 inch score line is here on the top in both of these. So on the second one, I've scored at 4 inches down to the second score line. So this is our 1/2 inch score line here, and then this is a 4 inch score line, and we're coming down to that because I want to have one of my panels unscored. So I'll just show you here. This is my little prototype, and you can see here, if we had scored this one right through, this piece would bend over, and I don't want this to bend over. This card, then what we'll do is fold it up, fold it over, and this card will become an 8 by 8 card, and it'll fit in an 8 by 8 envelope. So you can make these yourself, or I have some packs of cards and envelopes, and I'm going to use one of the envelopes from that. So this is our card size. It is a large 8 by 8 card base size, but I think it's going to be fabulous on the mantelpiece. Now you could reduce the size if you want, and like I said, there are tutorials out there for smaller size cards. Okay, so those are our two pieces that we'll need to make the box itself, and I'll do some cutting on those score lines shortly. So next I have 2 pieces of white cardstock, and these measure 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. One is going to go inside the box. It's going to have a piece of pattern paper on it, and this piece measures 3 1/2 by 7 1/2, and that'll go inside. This one is going to be on the outside on the back, and we're going to stamp a greeting here, and then we have room to write our message. I have this little strip of cardstock. It's 3/4 of an inch wide by, again, 3 1/2. Yeah, 3 1/2 inches. It's the same size as this. I got it off the bottom. And that's just going to decorate the bottom here. And I'll add some little decorations to this piece as well. So that's those 2. And if you look down in the description down below, I'm going to have the measurements all written out and down there for this card. I think it'll be easier for people to access. Okay, next, to embellish our box, I have a number of these white squares. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 squares measure 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I have 6 pieces then of pattern paper, and these measure 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And these are all from the pattern paper that comes in the kit. And you can see here, I've gotten 2 squares of each, so there's 3 different types of pattern paper, and I'm going to decorate these with those. Next, we want inside our box, we want to have some struts going across so that we can attach our little decorations to. So these little pieces here are these 3. Now, I don't want mine, like you can see here, they're hidden, you know, they'll be behind. I want mine to come up as snowbanks that you'll see: a small snowbank, a medium-sized snowbank, a large snowbank on here. So if you want to do just these ones, then you can cut them at 5 by 1 inch, and then you score at 1/2 inch and 4 1/2. If you want to do snowbanks, these ones measure 3 3/4 by 5. Again, I've scored them at 1/2 inch and 4 1/2, and I have 2 snowbanks cut here. And I just literally took my pencil and I just did my snowbanks like so, and then I've taken a scissors and I have just cut them then. And you can see I have on this one wrote front. So I'm just going to follow my pencil line around. They don't have to be anything perfect. And the reason you can see I've come down so far on this one is because this one is going to be a little taller. You can see there the difference. And this one is a little taller again. So when I put them into my box card, you'll have 3 staggered snowbanks. Now I have a little pencil mark on that, and I need to rub that off. And I'm going to do that now before I forget, because I have an awful head on me like a sieve. And I will rub out my front, middle and back, but you won't see them in the box. So they're my 3 snowbanks that I'm going to use. I've taken some of the images that came in the kit. These are ones that I printed off myself. And I'm going to have this little fella here at the back sliding down. Then I'm going to have this little fella here with the mouse, and then this little fella here. Or I may do this the other way around. Just depends on, you know, once I have them in where I want them. So that'll be the look of the 3 of them. So there's a lot going on, but I wanted to use all the images. I think I will actually move this one over here, because otherwise it looks like he's smelling his butt. So sorry. So yeah, I'm going to put this one over here, and I'll put this one here. And because they'll be stood up, you will be able to see, you know, the 3 images behind. But I think that's the way I'm going to go with those. I will have a sentiment. I have a few little bits here. This is the Frosty Shadow and Word die. They came in the kit, and I have die cut them out in white cardstock and a lovely, like a muted silver cardstock. So I have that there, and I'm going to put that up behind our little polar bear sliding down. And I'm going to stamp Christmas, so put a frosty Christmas on that. I've also taken some of the snowball stacks that came in the kit, and I have 2 of these up on foam tape. And I think what I'll do is put 2 of them like on this piece and this piece. And then I have 2 more, and I might kind of disperse them. I have 3 more actually, between our layers. So I just did enough that if I want to use them, I can. And then I've die cut out some of the snowflakes to embellish as well. I didn't die cut out too much. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 of the snowflakes there, and I can embellish the front as well as the back, where we'll stamp our sentiment. So that's all the bits we're going to need to assemble this card. I'm going to go ahead now and show you how we do some cutting to put our box card together. Okay, so I have my 2 panels here, and we need to do a little bit of cutting. So on this inch piece here, I'm going to cut up a little bit to make a tab on one side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across here like so. I'm then going to cut a little angle off this piece, and then I'm going to cut this piece off along here. So I'll actually flip it over this way. So I'm cutting off. Now I want to make sure I cut off that score line as well, and I want a nice clean cut along there. You could use your trimmer to do this, but I'm just going to use my scissors. Perfect. And now the next cut we need to do is down along here. So from the top here in the middle down to where our score line comes across. So I'm going to turn that over again, and I'm going to cut along this score line. Perfect. So that's one side done. Now we need to do the other side. So you can have the tab on this side and do the same thing again, or you can have the tab on the right side. It's up to you. But this is going to join one side of the box, and the other tab is going to join the other. So now we're going to move on to this piece. And what we want to do is we want to cut down this line here to the center. So I have my tab now on my left hand side, and I'm going to cut down my score line to the center. Then I'm going to cut down this score line where the tab is down to the center. Then I'm going to cut this little tab off, and then I'm going to cut an angle into this, like so. I'm going to cut an angle into this piece, like so. These are our tabs, and the reason we cut the angle off is so we don't have anything sticking out over the top. So that's all our cutting done for this. Now what we need to do is burnish our score lines. So I've got my scoring tool here, and I'm going to fold these back and burnish those. And then I'm going to fold this over and burnish that. And I'm going to fold this over and burnish that. So we want our 2 flaps outwards and our tab coming inwards. And now we're going to do that with this one. So again, we're going to fold this one down. And now we want to ensure that this tab here is going to stick on this, and this one is going to come over. So I'm going to fold this one away, and then this one is going to come in. And then this one is going to come in as well. And we just want to make sure that we keep everything nice and level. So there we go. So if you fold one in and it needs to be out, just fold it out. And if the tab is in this way and it needs to go the other way, just fold it the other way. It's no big deal really. So what we want for a finish is one tab to sit on here and this other tab to sit on here. So it gives us this. This is our box. And then these pieces will fold out, but one of them won't because it hasn't been scored. Okay, so now what we need to do is add some glue or some double-sided tape, whatever you want to use. And I'm going to use some of my quick grab glue. So I'll put some of that on this tab. And then I'm going to put this down on top of it. And I'm going to make sure that the bottom of my card is at the bottom. And the sides there match up. And I'll give that a minute then to stick. And you can fold it open and make sure that's stuck. And now we want to put some glue on this tab. So an easy way to do that is fold this one over and open up the tab. This one then will fold over on top of that. So I think that would probably be the easiest way to do that. Now once I have that done, I can fold that over. I just want to make sure that my box lines up at the bottom. And then I can move it over, just folding and burnishing the lines so that I know it's in the right place. There we go. As long as our card folds flat, that's the main thing. That's what we want. So this is the back because that's the one that won't fold over. And then these two are the front. So there we go. There is our box card literally ready to go. This one here will come up and it will fold flat, and you can put it in the envelope flat like that, or you can put up the panels, whichever way you like. It's up to yourself. So now the next thing I want to do is decorate the box. Now you could have done this before you assembled it, but I honestly think it's just as easy to do it now as when the whole thing is open. I find it easier this way because it's visualizing where my pattern papers and everything need to go. So it's really up to yourself what way you want to do it. Before I do anything more with this, I want to stick my pattern paper and my panels, my matte layers together. So I'll just move that out of the way a little bit and do that next. So I have all my panels ready now. I want to adhere them onto my box. So this panel is going to go in here like so. So I'm going to glue that in next. I'm going to keep this panel because I want to stamp a sentiment on this, so I'll keep this for a little while. But I'm going to add my smaller panels now, and I want to add these two here. So I'm going to add those on first. So I have everything on high speed again, and I'm going to add my mats and layers to the 3 flaps and to the 3 side panels as well. And I just think that once our box card is flattened to go in the envelope, you'll have nice panels. Just be careful when you're adding anything with words on that it's in the right direction, and I made sure that mine were. So once I get these panels now on the bottom, there's no words on this, it's snowflakes, so I can put them in any direction I like. Once I have these 3 on, then it's ready just to put our snowbanks inside. So I have my blending brushes here. I got these from Amazon, but you can get them from Craft Stash. I've just taken my Warm Breeze and I've just written out Warm Breeze there and stuck it on, just so I'll know and I don't go mixing up my Distress inks with my VersaFine. So I'll add a bit of colour there, and then what I shall do is I'm going to take off a little bit because I don't want it too bright, and then I can just go around the edge. And I'm going to do that with all 3 of them. So again, I'm going to speed this part up. Now you'll see I'm colouring along the edge of the snowbanks, and I'm going to use some of the little stamps as well to add texture to it like I did in my previous card. But what I will do is, as I decide where my snowbanks, the height they're going to be, I'll need to cut some of the sides down. So where we have the tabs that will glue into the side of our box, I will actually cut them down in size so you don't see them over the top of the side flaps. So this is my back panel, and I'm going to add my little fella on there. So we'll just need a little bit of glue on the back here. Now I'm not going to use the collal, I'm going to use the quick grab for him. So you can either add these on now or you can add them when they're in the box, and I want to add them when they're in the box, so it'll give me a better idea. So I'm going to fold over my tabs. I'm going to put this into my box. I hope you can see there. So this is going to sit in here like so. And you'll notice it doesn't go the whole way to the bottom because I may bring this up a bit, you see, to have him there like that. So if I do bring it up, I will need to cut my tabs down here on the side so that they, you know, they're not sitting up proud. Otherwise they'll be down like this, and I want some of my snowbanks higher than the others. So I'm going to cut down this side, and this really does depend on you and where, you know, how high up or how low down you want your snowbanks, you know. And again, I'm cutting at an angle there, and then I'm cutting up like so. So now you can have your snowbank like that, or you can round it over, and I think what I will do is I will round it over just a little bit. And I'll do the same then with this one. I'll bring it over and round it over like that. Just round it up, and then I'll bring back in my little piece of cardstock and go around the edge there, and the same with this one with my blending brush. That'll do lovely. So that will go in there like that, and you won't see the panels. So in order to glue these down, the best way I found to do this is add a little bit of glue here and then add it onto your panel like so, and then with a little bit of glue on the other side just close it over, and it will attach. So I'll show you now how I do it, and I will add a little bit of my quick grab glue. So I'll add some glue to this. I'll add some glue to this one. I'm going to fold this back. and I'm going to put them in, and you can see there how it's just closing over. So I'm going to do that, and I'm making sure that this panel here is closing up against my back panel there. So I'm going to push that together, add a little pressure, and then once the glue catches, there's our snowbank in. So just give your glue time to set when you're doing that. And now we want to go on to our next snowbank. So we want our middle one. And that one I'll sit in around here. So again, I need to take off some of my pieces here. So I'm going to just going to round over those corners a little bit so it's not so sharp. And then I'm going to come up from here and come down, come off at an angle. And again, I'm going to just go over my edges with my blending brush. And then we're going to put some glue on this tab and glue on that tab, slide it into place and close it over. So I'll add some glue to this tab, add some glue to this tab. Close that over. And then we have our last one. So I'm going to do the same with that. I'm going to cut off another little bit there, so this will be rounded over. And then I'll do the same to this side. I will bring this snowbank down a little bit more. And I'll use my blending brush on the edges. And then I can do the same on that. So I'm folding this one back. I'm putting glue on this one and glue on this one. So this one gets glued into place there. And there's my 3 snowbanks. So now I want to add my little pieces. So whatever you add in here, you don't want this coming out over there, and you don't want this coming out over here, otherwise it won't be in your envelope. This is what's going to fit into your envelope, so you want everything contained here. Doesn't want to be higher than this piece either, so keep it all contained. So that piece should slide on there nicely, and I think I'm going to take my blending brush and just add a little bit of ink to the bottom of this one as well, just so it blends in with the piece that we have in there. And I'm going to stick that down like so. So I'll add a little glue to the back of this. So that one will go there and it'll sit up like that. Then our next piece will go here like so. So we'll add a little bit of glue to him. This little fella's going to sit over here. That is so cool, all those layers. So I'm going to put my frosty now up here. I'll take out all my little bits of embellishments. And I'm going to stick this down. So I'm again going to speed this part up, adding the little snowball clusters, one to the right and one to the left hand side. And I've got my frosty stuck on already. I was talking about putting Frosty Christmas, but I have die cut out the Merry Christmas, the shadow and word die that came in kit 37 from Made to Surprise. And I'm going to add that to the front where I have my 2 snowball piles. And then I'm just going to add some of the snowflakes around the back, the side panels, the front, and then the back panel itself, where we will get to stamping our sentiment together there. So I'm going to move ahead now to that point where I'm going to stamp on the back panel and add that to the back of the card. My sentiment there, Dreaming of a White Christmas, is from box 36 by Sasha Reed. And then I'm taking the snowflake stamps that came in box 38 and I'm going to stamp them around that. I'll add some of my Collal glue then to the back of this panel. I'm being very careful that I don't smudge the ink, and I'll add that onto the back. And I've added one of the stars, you can see it there, stars, snowflakes, to the back panel. And that is our pop-up card. I hope you like it. If you did, you might give it a thumbs up. You might hit on the subscribe button and ding the bell so you're notified anytime I put up a video. If you make this card, I hope that you will share it with us on our Your Cards and Crafts group that is on Facebook. We'd love to see you, so come and join us there on that group. Don't forget you can find all the links to the products used down below, and I'm going to leave it there with some pictures for you. Until next time, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now. Bye.